Hello, everybody. It's Ken Faulkner again. Got lots of knives. It's like a daily event now, putting out videos from stuff from Blade Show. Probably over halfway done now, but man, we're moving along. And last two knives, and this is the third one, kind of in this group, so subsets, I guess. I get in these moods. I get in these you know, different kind of, I don't know, like I'll buy this type of knife for a while, or I'll be going after this kind of thing, or doing, my collecting definitely shifts with moods and different things. I do like a lot of variety. I have a friend that I show my knives to at work, and she was commenting, "You got so many different things coming in. There's always something different," and that's what I like. I like it, and this one is different. This one's definitely different. Obviously, I had the Flightanium one, but that they've had that knife out for a while. But this was the lightweight version, pretty cool. Got the Surf, which is another company that's been out making knives, but they got the new folder. That's the Squid Industries, and now it's Worksharp. We all know. I mean, people in the knife community know about Worksharp. I mean, they got all kinds of great sharpeners. I probably have three or four different things from them. I definitely want to get the Pro. I got the what is it? What's that one that I have? The one that it's like really reasonable. You can get like the base version of it. It's a guided sharpener, Precision Elite or something like that. But it's like $50 or something for you get three of the, or maybe just one. But regardless, it's not about that. So let's not dwell on that stuff. But you know what I'm talking about. The field sharpener. They got so many great things. I haven't got any of the belt sharpener stuff, but they have a lot of different options. I mean, it's a great company, but now they're putting out a knife, and there's a lot of buzz. There's a line of people getting this knife. I went down the website to kind of look at some information on it, and it looks like they may be sold out now. So they'll probably be re-upping. They got a big factory. They had a big thing where they brought a bunch of YouTube people and people from the knife community in to show them what they were doing and talk about this knife here, the RMX. What does the RMX stand for? I know I read it. Maybe we'll find something in the box. What's going on with this knife is a couple different things. One of the biggest things about it is that it is a button lock that can turn into an auto, and that's something new that I've never seen before. And it's very, very cool. Now, I'm not big on opening with the button. I know the Elementum came out with a version that did that. I can do this, really. I've been kind of practicing it, but man, it took me a while just to get it this well. I'm not that good with the whole button opening thing. You know, probably anybody that gets this knife is eventually going to at least try out the auto version, swap it out. So I will do that. California, that's not a legal carry. So I may not keep it that way, but I'm at least going to try it out. I mean, I got to try it. I think it's, and the unusual thing about this button is that if you have it closed, it's locked up, right? Because if you put the spring in to make it auto, you need to have it locked because the spring's already pushing on it all the time. So that when you push the button, it'll spring out. Of course, if you don't have the spring, you got to swing it out. So, I've seen people that are really good at this, and I'm working on it, but it's not my preferred. I really like to break a detent or something along that lines. Get that flick feeling. That's very satisfying to me. Autos are kind of fun because they pop. Especially with a real strong spring. I'll be curious, and I'll probably, after I run through the rest of the knives from the show, I'll probably do a video. I'll practice a couple times so that I don't flounder too much on the video. But yeah, I'll practice it, and then I'll change it out. But you've seen people do it. I know that Zach from Zach Stuff, he did it. He had some problems with it, and then he had some tips for people. So I'll probably go back and watch that video again. But something about not pushing too hard on it and reading the directions and following the directions. That's something that's not my strong suit. I'm more of a just dive in and try to figure it out type of guy. But getting tips, every time I take apart something that's not just a standard liner lock or frame lock, I always watch somebody's video of somebody doing a disassembly just to see if they make a mistake, so I can avoid making that mistake. But I'm really good at making mistakes when it comes to that kind of stuff. So this knife, other things about it that are different. Well, before we go on there, we'll open up the box. It's a big box for a little knife. And it's not a little knife. It's an EDC size. They have a smaller version. I got the larger version, and I also got the drop point. They do have this Tonto, reverse Tonto version. I did check that out first. But this one felt like it swung out better to me because I'm so kind of uncomfortable with it. That one was a little bit lighter blade, I think, so it made it harder to swing out. And I'm a drop point fan too. Now the thing about the reverse Tonto is it's a 3V steel. This is M390, which is a great steel as well, but 3V is kind of fun. I really wasn't buying this for the steel. I'm buying it for the other things about it. So here's all the gear that comes with it. It's got this special tool. And I never have been a big fan of the special tool thing because if you lose the tool, then you got to get another one from them. But I'll keep it in this box, and I'll keep the box because this is all really good. And if I don't keep it in the auto version, even if I do, you got to keep the stuff with it that puts it back to the other version in case you ever want to do that. So it's got all those pieces. So it's got a different pivot piece to go here. Springs. I think that's a spare. I don't know for sure, but it's a bearing and a spring and all that stuff. I think it'll be fun eventually. But I got so much stuff to enjoy right now. And so they got the whole thing and they talk about it. And there's like a diagram, so that's kind of cool. And you can see that it has the one screw with a big pivot collar, I guess, on both sides. Clip works really well. Then again, there's another thing that's very different, and I wonder what made them decide to do this. I guess they talked about it on that video where they're going through the factory, but it is a magnesium handle. So that's different, right? I don't have any knives with it's. I guess they call it a magnesium alloy. And then there's a bunch of people trying to light them on fire and all that fun stuff, and I'm not going to do that. But you can always find somebody else that's doing it. Little bit of branding, tiny little bit of branding. That's kind of nice. It's got the triangle, which is that Worksharp logo right there. And it's in the pivot, and it's got like it's a little milled out spot. And I was thinking, oh, maybe I could just flick it out from that, but no, I'm locked. Now I can get it past that point, and then I could use that to flick out. I was doing that, but it's definitely awkward. So it's just not worth it. I just got to learn how to do that little wrist action. A lot of times when you're doing your middle finger flicks or whatever, you're trying not to use wrist. You're trying just to use as little wrist as possible. But with this method, you really kind of have to do it. And then there's always the question, is this a gravity knife? Which is another legal issue. And then I don't even want to go there because I don't want to be any more restricted than I already am. So yeah, magnesium. Now light and supposedly pretty strong. And it does feel really light. And it does have a kind of a, I don't know if you call it like a chalkboard type feel to it. Like a little bit of a texture to it. The coating's supposed to be pretty good. I haven't used it enough to really have any problem with it, but it does feel very light. Integral, which is nice. And the funny thing is that the price on this thing, I guess it's not funny, but it's cool. $139.95, and that's probably part of the reason why this thing sold out. It's definitely pretty cool. You can get an even smaller version of it. I think they showed it here. So there's two versions. So there's an even smaller version if you really like the smaller knives. This is really, for me, is an EDC size, not a full size, is the terminology I like to use. And it is the drop point. Like I said, it was a little bit easier to do the swinging out. So that's what I was more interested in than the steel, because I'm fine with M390. 3V's fun because it's more of an unusual, and it's got that, definitely got some great edge retention, good qualities. But M390s works plenty well for me. Got a thank you card. So yeah, I got the early in, and this was like maybe the 4th place I went. And man, I felt bad for. There's this woman that was filling out the receipts by hand, and I guess they don't sell a ton of stuff, as far as sharpeners there, because I mean they don't fit in the suitcase too well. Sometimes I got to ship it home, except for of course the field sharpeners. But they're writing out the receipt by hand. I'm telling this woman, I feel so bad because you're gonna have carpal tunnel by the end of the day. And once the floodgates opened after the early bird people portion was over, yeah, the line was long, and I'm pretty sure they sold out the first day, and I think they brought a whole bunch. So yeah, very cool. It's fun to have something different for me, and it's something to talk about and tell you guys about and show you guys. I don't know how easy, how many people were able to get them before they sold out, or if it was like one of those things that it sold out really fast. I'll probably hear about some of it in the comments. Let me know if you got one. Let's do some size comparisons, because like I said, I consider it an EDC size. So I'm thinking I'll get out the ruler first, and we'll see if it's like 3 inches. So the blade is like a 3 and almost 3 1/4. So that's right at the top of the EDC size for me. And it's about 2 3/4 on the cutting edge. I think that qualifies it for under 3-inch rules. California, for whatever reason, I don't know, they're very tough on the autos, but lengthwise, that's not an issue for us, at least. But if you go into Los Angeles City, yeah, then it changes as you cross into the city, which is screwed up. And I know Knife Rights is really working to try to get that. It's that preemption thing or something, I think they call it, where the whole state has the same laws wherever you go. And yeah, because it's dirty pool, tricking people into thinking that they have a knife that they can use everywhere. I guess I'll do the size comparison thing again. I switched up my size comparison thing a little bit, because I did have the, here's the basic stuff, the Rat 1 and the Rat 2, and it's again between those two. That's a kind of a typical thing, because I think that's why they're used for size comparison. We got the Penguin, and it's just rolling through it real quick just to give you an idea. Penguin, so a little bit bigger than that, which is nice. It may be at the top end of a EDC. I've recently added the bug out, and look, it's right there at the bug out size. And I mentioned that on my last video. Let me get rid of this guy. Mentioned that on my last video, that the bug out's really kind of top end of the EDC size for me as well. It even has more blade length than the 2 and 3, maybe a 3-inch blade length on the bug out. So here's where the change came into effect. I always had the paramilitary 2. I think I called it the Para 2 or something. That's always not good. You don't call it Para 2 when it's a paramilitary 2. Gotta get that correct. But the Tenacious I was using and that was an M4 Tenacious. It's very cool because it's got, it's like the fun steel, right? M4. But this is a fun steel as well. I got my Sage 5, and that's so if you compare the Sage 5, I think Sage 5 is very close to a PM3 or a Para 3. Sorry, got to get that right. I think it's closer to a Para 3. I don't have a Para 3, so this is a typical size comparison, and then we put it between the two, and it should be about in between. Maybe a little bit bigger than the Sage 5, with the AWT scales. Love this knife, and the Rex 121. It was the lightweight, and I switched it over with the scales. Check out that video. It's a little bit longer than that, and it's definitely shorter than the PM2. I gotta keep track of all this stuff. Anyway, so that was fun because I'm excited about having that in the comparison. And so, yeah, I'm not going to switch it out right now, but yeah, what do you think about that idea? Do you like autos? I know they're popular. I know, like, at the show, Microtech had super long lines right at the very beginning. I guess they have a show special that everybody wants to get. And so everybody's running to get into that line. For me, it's kind of not as much fun because I can't carry them. And I think that if I could carry them, it would change my whole aspect on the autos. But I have a few autos because I just collection. I need to have a little bit of this and a little bit of that, right? So yeah, I am excited about trying this out in the auto formation, and I will show that to you guys, but that'll be later on. Anything else special about this other than the fact that it's a sharpening company making a knife and magnesium scales, and you can switch it out to auto and back to manual? Yeah, pretty boring, really. No, it's very exciting. One thing I've realized is a bit of a benefit from this. Since it locks closed, I can put this in my left pocket, and when my hand slides down there, I don't have to worry about it accidentally opening up. The button is a little bit, and you can kind of see how I struggle a little bit with the button. You really have to press it down in order to get it to the point where you can swing it out. So I don't think it's gonna happen in your pocket. You know, when it's flush to the rest, it's still not coming out. You really got to push it down just a little further. So yeah, that is an advantage. I don't know how much I'll use that. I have a left-handed Finrear, and I put it in my front left pocket. But mostly I'm carrying front right, back left, because in both cases that blade is up against the outside edge of my pocket, and I haven't cut myself since I started doing that. So by reaching in my pocket. Obviously, I've cut myself, but not reaching in my pocket because the blade opened up a little bit. Anyway, so there you go, guys. The next one on the Blade Show list. I was excited to get this one because there was so much hype. You know, you really want to, my curiosity. I guess I'm like a cat when it comes to knife collecting. So I gotta check it all out, and it didn't disappoint. I think it's a really cool knife. So hopefully everybody who wants to get one will have a chance to get one. I have a feeling they're going to make more, and probably more models too. We'll see. It's always exciting to look forward to things in the future. So that's it for today. Got more from Blade Show. Before I do the next video, I'll kind of take a look-see and see how close I am. But yeah, I definitely have a few more. So then we got some good premium ones. Some that I'm very excited about as like really quality knives. These are fun for their own reason. And then there's like some of those ones that were and this is a good price too. So it kind of fits in that category of just a really good deal. I know it's $140, but what you're getting, I think it's really good, especially Integral, right? Integral. But I do have some more premium ones, and they're very cool. So I'm excited. Those are kind of saving those for the last. All right, guys. Enough talking. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.